I want to share some forms of targeting that I didn't always know was involved in my harassment and targeting. Some of these things, it took me quite a while to discover that they were indeed part of the targeting. And some of these things I am still beginning to realize are involved that at one time I thought were just um, coincidental. But now I know that they were not coincidental because I can see the pattern, and a lot of these things are recurring, and so I know that they're a form of targeting. And towards the end, I will share with you one of the bizarre ways that I am beginning to be targeted. It is bizarre to me. I've never heard any other target mention that they get targeted this way, but maybe someone does. And if you're one of those people who do get targeted, leave your comments and let me know what happens to you if you get the same form of targeting, which I'm going to share in a few minutes. And also, my purpose of really doing this video is because when we know what's going on, we can counteract. We can look for countermeasures or shielding, or we can avoid some problems sometimes if we know that we're being targeted that way. So I just want to share this for anyone who may be listening. A lot of these are standard tactics that just about all targets who get the community-based harassment and the organized stalking, most people will get the same types of stuff. But some of these things, maybe you may realize, oh, okay, that's part of my targeting. Because for me, a lot of this stuff I just thought was regular occurrences. Okay, so that's why I want to share this in hopes that it will help someone. And I can also share some of the things that I've done for a few of these. I didn't list everything that I've done for all of these, but a few of these I can tell you some of the solutions that I came up with in hopes that it all may help. Okay. All right. So one of the things is, the first thing I'll say is the police and the first responders. I had no idea, none, that they were involved in targeting at all. Number one, because I didn't know I was being targeted. But once I did discover that I was being targeted, I thought that I could go to them for help. I thought that I could go to any public official for help. The police, the fire, the people that hold local offices, city hall, the governor, the president. I thought I could go to any of those people and just let them know these people are doing this to me and I don't know why and I need your help. And I sincerely thought that they would help because I was raised to believe that police are there to help us, to protect and serve. That's what I was taught. And so I was devastated when I found out that not only were they not going to help me, but they were also involved in my targeting. When I went to tell what was happening to me, to talk to them about it, seeking their help, they interrogated me as if I was the criminal. And that devastated me. That really devastated me. They even motioned like they were going to run over me with their cars. They um, came on bicycles every morning to all four corners of my house for at least a week or more. They were there every morning, like 4 something, 5 something in the morning when I would leave for work. So that devastated me. Um, so I've heard people on these videos say that they were going to get help from the police and from their government officials, and not to discourage anyone, because we definitely still should be trying to expose this and we should be trying to get help. But in my experience, I have not received any help from anyone who you would think would help. Okay, so I wanted to just say that first. Also, work. I did not realize that I was being workplace mobbed and workplace harassed a long time ago on multiple different jobs. I'm just actually starting to realize that a few that I didn't really consider to be involved in the targeting way back when they were also involved. And some of those signs were just like general rudeness and um, people just starting to act strange and funny at work and sabotaging my work and not giving me credit for things that I did well, to shunning in the workplace and in meetings. And those were some of the early signs so that I did not realize. So if that's happening to any of you, you might want to take a closer look. Um, Hair loss. The entire middle section of my hair was gone at one time. And I could just touch it and it would just come out in clumps. But it was mainly in the middle. And now that I know what I know from research and things like that, that was more than likely caused by directed energy weapons. So what I have been doing for that is taking biotin. And if you are not familiar with biotin, it is spelled Biotin, and it is a like a vitamin kind of pill, I guess you would call it, and it seems to be working. The problem with that is that because it's for hair growth, it may give you unwanted facial hair. It might. It does not do that for everyone, but it might. If it does, you can use some Nair, Nair, which is hair removal, and it's like a little lotion, and you just put it on there and it'll come off. Um, but do your own research on that. Definitely check with your doctor before you take it, if you decide to take it, because if you're on any other medication, it could possibly interact. I have not had any problems with biotin, but it's just always a good idea to check with your doctor before you take anything. So yeah, I did not know that hair loss could have possibly been involved in my targeting. Dry skin. I'll say that along with the hair loss. I had all of a sudden started having extremely dry skin. My skin was never dry, but it became very, very dry, and I got some kind of something rash in the middle of my forehead that just wouldn't go away. And eventually I went to the dermatologist and I got some medication and it cleared it up. But I just thought that was just strange that all of a sudden that just developed. What else? Chance meetings. I'll call them chance meetings, where you just run into random people from your past. Now, I do know that there are times where you may run into people, of course. And it could just be a coincidence that you're at the same place at the same time with someone that you knew. However, this was happening way too much. Way, way, way too much. It would happen when we were on vacation, many, many miles away from home. We'd run into people. One time we ran into two sets of people, two sets of people from our hometown, and we were 9 hours away on a plane. And we kept running into these people everywhere we went, and those people didn't even know each other, so they weren't even in the same place. So things like that, these chance meetings were happening a lot, even running into people on the airplane. And that was just happening so much, and it happens here locally too. And again, I know that there are times where you will run into people, but not as often as it was happening to us. So if that happens to you, then it could possibly be part of the targeting. But then again, it may not be. It just depends. But I just feel like whenever a pattern is established and things keep happening over and over and over, that's when I just figure it's involved, because it just can't be all those coincidences back to back to back to back like that. The dog walkers. Now, this is a very, very common tactic that just about everybody who gets the organized stalking will experience, and that's the dog walkers. But it took me a while to realize that the dogs too were part of the targeting. But it makes sense because animals are used with MK Ultra a lot. So most of those people who are MK Ultra victims will tell you that some sort of animal was used to condition them. And so it's not surprising that dog walkers are definitely involved in the targeting. But I didn't know that at first. As I say, I go to work early, so there used to be this lady every morning, like 4 something, 5 something in the morning, walking this little dog. And I thought, well, that's odd. And that's usually the way it is. You think that it's odd, it catches your attention, but you still may not know that it's involved in the targeting. So I would think, well, that's odd that she's out here by herself, pitch black, 4 or 5 in the morning, walking this little dog. And so that is where the whole dog walking thing began with me. And since that time, they're just always out there in part of the targeting. Doesn't bother me anymore because I know what's going on now. And that's one of my purposes of sharing this video, because once we do know, we can get over it and move on. And we just know that it's part of the targeting. Along with the dog walkers, the bicycles, the same thing. They're very much involved as well. The noise campaigns, the mailmen, mail women, they are so involved in my targeting. They use them a lot, and that started with my mail being ripped right on the corner. They would tear the envelope right on the corner, and it would be in my mailbox that way almost every day. And then that stopped, and they started getting the physical walking and always driving by me and all of that with their mail truck. So the mail people are very much involved, which really surprised me. Actually, that really surprised me. But they're definitely part of it, at least for me. Random phone calls. It took me a while to realize that was part of the targeting. It would be phone calls, not answer, and the people would be speaking a different language. That would just happen like almost every day. It would be a lot of missed calls. It would be a lot of telemarketing calls. It would be a lot of wrong numbers, asking for a person. It'd be a wrong number. And one of the main things they would do is every time I would come in the door, the phone would ring. Every time I walk in the house, the phone would ring. And that would happen time after time after time. So if you get random phone calls to telemarketers, the different languages, people speaking different languages, or any of that kind of stuff, they definitely do that with targeting. General rudeness. People would just be nasty for no reason. Just act like they don't like you, just nasty. They don't even know you, but they act that way. I got a lot of that in the beginning. I never really cared about stuff like that, so that really didn't bother me, but I noticed it. People taking my picture. That used to happen a lot, and I never knew why. And at first it would be like, wait a minute, did that guy just take my picture? Did that lady just take my picture? And then it started happening a lot. And that's another thing that doesn't really bother me, but I did notice it. Okay, so that's the community-based stuff. So now I'm going to move on to some of the physical pains. I was one of those people, I may have said this already, I was one of those people, if you would have asked me how I'm targeted, once I finally did discover it, it took me a long time to discover the targeting. I think I went like 3 or 4 years with going through all this stuff without even knowing that I was a target. And I didn't know what it was. It took me a while before I did a Google search and found the whole community. So I went through a lot of this stuff just on my own without having the support of the community. But once I did discover that I was officially put in a program, because that's what it is, it's a program, If you would have asked me how I get targeted, I would have said I get stalked. I get the stalking and I get the police harassment, but that's it. I don't get anything else. That's what I used to think, and that's what I used to tell people. But I started to do my research. I started to talk to other targets. I started to watch YouTube videos, and I realized that a lot of the physical ailments that I get is related to being hit with directed energy weapons. So if you're one of those people, like I used to be, that that think that all you get is stalking, you probably need to do a little bit further research, and you'll realize that a lot of things, even some of your thoughts, even some of the things you say, even the people around you can be manipulated to do things or to say things. And even some of the things that come out of your mouth may not be something you would normally say. Even some of your thoughts may not be some of the things that you would think. So do your research. If you're like I used to be and think that all I get is stalking, because I found out that that was not true for me. So one of the things that I used to get really, really, really bad was migraine headaches. I had no idea that I could have possibly been getting those migraines due to directed energy weapons. I used to get migraines so bad that I thought each one would kill me. I honestly thought I was going to have an aneurysm every time I had a migraine. They were debilitating. I would go temporarily blind. I would have breathing problems. I would, everything that was on my body, if I had a rubber band or earrings, it felt like it weighed 10,000 pounds. I'd have to be in the dark. I would crawl on the floor. They were horrible. They were horrible. And I got them for years. And I started taking something called Feverfew, Feverfew. I went to the GNC store, which is a health store here. I don't know if everybody has that in their town, but you can get this. You can get this at any health food store. Um, and I told the clerk that I get these really bad migraines, so he told me to look this up. He gave me a book. I read it. I decided to try it. It's one of those things. It's not like an aspirin we can take and it takes the headache away. You have to get it in your system. And I can't remember how long I took it. I say probably about a month, if that, and I never got another headache. I've told several people about this who get migraines, and it has helped them as well. I would say that if you decide to try it, please check with your doctor first, because especially if you're taking another medication, it could have a bad interaction. I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor, but I would just suggest that any new medication you should run by your doctor first. But I took it. I'm glad I did. I don't know if that's what actually took my migraines away. I just know that after about a month of taking it, it may have been a little more, a little less than a month. Not sure. I don't remember. But I never got another one, and I thank God. I thank God, because they were horrible. They were horrible. And directed energy weapons can definitely cause migraine headaches. Fatigue. That's something that I still suffer with. Being extremely, extremely tired all the time. And it's just beyond tired, really. It's just, could just fall asleep at any moment. It's really bad. And that can be caused by directed energy weapons. Pain, chronic pain, just pain all over. I never had that before. I know that a lot of things come with age. I do know that, but this is just a lot going on all at once. And most recently, I had a case of the shingles, and I didn't know what shingles were until I got them. Shingles is a form of chickenpox, and it comes usually later in life, somewhere around 70, I'm told. Um, and people who've already had chicken pox, instead of developing chicken pox again, they'll get shingles, which is a different form. But I don't think young people get shingles. It's usually older people is what I'm told. Um, but it's just strange because stress is a major cause to have a shingles outbreak. And while most targets are always stressed, because this is a very stressful, trauma-based program that we're in. However, I have been way more stressed than this in my life. Before I knew I was targeted is the most stressful period I've ever had by far in my life, because I had no idea what was happening. I couldn't explain what all this police activity around me was and all these strange people doing all these strange things. So that's when I was stressed to the max. So if I did not get shingles then I don't understand why I just got it recently, which caused me great pain, great discomfort, and a loss of wages because I wasn't able to go to work for a week. And so I'm not too sure that wasn't directed energy related or some sort of germ warfare, because the Indians were given smallpox in blankets. That was chemical germ warfare, in my opinion. And the Tuskegee, I think that's how you say it, airmen, they were given syphilis. So how do I know that wasn't given to me? I have no idea. I just know that this is not the most stressful period of my life, so I don't understand. I don't understand. Um, but with this targeting, anything could happen. Anything could happen. And I just want people to realize that some of the physical things that we go through, it definitely could be related to the targeting. The ringing in the ears, I've been getting that for many years. And it mimics tinnitus, as you all know. And what I do for that, most of the time I just deal with it. But if it gets really bad, I'll go to YouTube and pull up Schumann's resonance, which is the Earth's frequencies, 7.83 hertz, I think it is. And I'll put a link to that in the description box as well. Things like sciatic nerve problems, where your nerves just hurt all in your back and your lower back and those kind of things. Stretching helps with that, helps a lot to stretch. Leg cramps. I used to get the really bad, like Charlie horse leg cramps. That can be directed energy. That's something I really didn't know was directed energy related, but I'm told that it could be. And if I'm sitting down when it happens or laying down, if I stand up, that helps a lot. It just kind of goes down. Head jerks, burning sensations in the elbows. I'm getting that a lot now. I don't know what to do about that. So if you guys know what to do about that, please leave a comment and let me know. It's just a lot of burning in my elbow areas. What else? Implanted thoughts. As I said, sometimes you may have thoughts that is definitely not your own. You could even feel suicidal or depressed. That may not be the way you really feel. That could be induced by the directed energy. Or it could be a result of the traumas that targets go through as well. I think that's it. But I thought about all this stuff because of this bizarre way of targeting that I'm getting. But also, I was listening to Dr. Barry Trower, which most targets know who Dr. Barry Trower is. And if you don't, look him up on YouTube, because he gives a lot of really good information about the microwave weapons, directed energy weapons. And he's an independent scientist and a microwave weapons expert. And in one of his videos, he was saying that when the government doesn't like you, that's what they do. They hit you with directed energy. And he says that it goes undetected. because you really can't prove it. Nobody's going to believe you. And he says that the levels of the microwave energy is so low that you may not even know that that's what's happening to you, because most of the time they don't turn the frequencies up real high. There are times where they will turn the frequencies up higher than what they started out with the target. They might start out with the real low frequency and they make it a little bit higher, but he's saying they don't ever really go too high, so it goes very undetected. And he was saying that this microwave energy can cause neurological problems, and it can even cause cancer. So some people are developing cancer and they think that it's is something that they just naturally developed, which I think all that was created in the lab anyway. Me personally, that's how I feel. And there have been several people who said that they had discovered a cure for cancer, and they were killed or silenced in some kind of way. I was listening to Dr. Sebi the other day, and he came up with natural cures for cancer, and they put him in jail and eventually killed him. I think he died this year, actually. But he came up with the all natural forms, just basically in the way of eating. Certain things that he called, what did he call that food? Energy food? Life food? I think he called it life food or energy food or something like that. But he just talked about how we need to be eating food that is non-hybrid food. In other words, if you have two oranges and one orange has seeds and the other orange doesn't have seeds, or you have grapes and the grapes, one of your sets of grapes have the seeds and the other does not have seeds, we need to be eating the ones with the seeds. Most of the time we don't want to eat the things with the seeds because it's inconvenient, because you have to spit the seed out or whatever. But that's the real fruit with the seeds. This other stuff is genetically modified. When you have an orange, it doesn't have seeds. Or you have a watermelon and it doesn't have seeds. You see those seedless watermelons? Those are not the ones you want. You want your fruit to have seeds. That's what Dr. Sebi says. You want all your stuff to have seeds because that's the real food. That's the life food. The other stuff was made in a lab somewhere and it's not good for you. So he gives you ways to eat that will prevent you from getting cancer and those kind of things. But they don't like that. They don't like that, so they kill those people off. And they put this cancer out there. I believe that all this genetically modified stuff is not good for us. The stuff in the chemtrails that we're breathing, this stuff is not good for us. That's why people are catching cancer and all these different things. So, anyway, I digress there. That's not what I meant to talk about. But basically, Dr. Barry Trower was saying that that they can send microwave pulses to people's brains through any tower, any kind of cell phone tower, any kind of mobile device, any kind of, he said there are vans, there are, he called them mobile vans, that could be parked right outside a person's house or wherever a person is, and they can have these weapons in there. He said there's about 30, I think he said 30 to 35 different pulses that can cause 50 different neurological and physiological symptoms. He said that these directed energy weapons, they can cause sexual aggression, they can cause suicidal tendencies, depression, can affect your vision, which made me think about the headaches I used to get because I used to literally go blind on one side. He says that these weapons can affect your natural rhythm of the heart, of your heartbeat. So people having heart attacks, they having heart flutters, heart palpitations, all of that can be directed energy weapons. He said it can affect your mental processes. You can't think straight. Your whole thought process is just off. You can't focus. You can't concentrate. Directed energy weapons. He said it can induce paranoia and schizophrenia. You think you schizophrenic. He said you go to the doctor, they're going to say you're schizophrenic, but you're really not. It's the directed energy that's doing that. It can make you feel lethargic. You're just tired all the time. And he said that it can affect your thinking, your ability to think straight. And also, he said that these weapons can follow you all over the world. He said no matter where you go, that signal is with you. And he also said that yes, they probably do use the microchips to track a person, but they don't need to do that anymore. Because he said they could just send a satellite signal to your brainwave because they have all our brainwave patterns one way or another. Probably at birth. I'm pretty sure with the babies now they probably get all that stuff at birth. But for some of us older people, somewhere along the line we went to the doctor and they got our brainwave pattern some kind of way. So I'm glad that I listen to people like him and some of the other very knowledgeable people and experts in this area because, as I said, I was one of those people who thought that all I get is people that follow me. And not to minimize, I don't mean it like that, like all I get, but I just thought that that was my only form of targeting was people following me and police harassment. But no, no. A lot of these ailments that I experience, I should not be experiencing. I feel that my body is aging much faster than it should be. And I think that that is happening to a lot of targets. And I think that if we all do our research, we'll realize that it has a lot to do with directed energy weapons. And I really don't shield. I'm not a person that does the shielding, but I probably need to start looking into it and just trying to figure out how I can minimize some of these effects. And I know that there are many targets who tell you there's nothing at all you can do. But my faith is in God. Um, and I think that we can probably slow down some of the progression of these the effects that these weapons are having on our body if we just learn some of the shielding techniques, which is something that I plan to try to look into. Okay, so that was it for that. I hope that that helps someone because knowledge is power, and the sooner we kind of realize and kind of understand some of this stuff, the better we can counteract it. So that's all I wanted to share on that. Now, on to my bizarre way of targeting that kind of ties into all of this. This all just started recently, at least recently to me realizing it, because as I said, some of the stuff you look back and you realize it goes back further than you thought at first. So my bizarre way of targeting is that a lot of people all of a sudden want to give me free things. Free. And at first it's like, oh, that's so nice of you. But then I started to realize, well, wait a minute, this is happening a lot. I'm getting free this and free that and free this. So I'm realizing that it is part of the targeting. I was at a convenience store and my whatever I purchased, it came up to, we'll just say $3.75. And the person at the store, oh, you don't have to give me the change. You don't have to. I said, well, wait a minute, that's 75 cents. And I'm thinking to myself, stores don't give you 75 cents. And he was like, no, 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 don't worry about it. No, 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 you don't have to give me the change. And I'm like, but that's 75 cents. It's not like 2 cents. No, 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 you don't have to give me the change. So I said, no, I gave it to him anyway. Not too long after that, oh, don't worry about it. The hot chocolate's on me. You don't have to pay for your hot chocolate today. It's on me. And I'm like, okay. So then I'm starting to realize, well, wait a minute, there's something going on here. So then a couple days later at the gas station, many miles away from these other places, The gas station guy says, "Oh, I don't have any change in my register, so here, just take a whole dollar. Instead of me giving you, I think he owed me like 35 cents or something. Instead of me giving you your 35 cents, just take a whole dollar." So I'm looking like, okay, so I'm getting all this free stuff. So I'm realizing now, okay, this is part of my targeting. Everything is buy one get one free. This is just so bizarre. So then it just dawned on me, which really caused me to go ahead and do this video. This just dawned on me about, I'll say about maybe 2 months ago, 2 months, maybe 3 months, somewhere around there. We had something in the house to break. So we called this guy who fixes our house when things are broken, and we've been knowing him probably about 10 years or so now, and he fixes things. So he came over and he told us, okay, I can fix that, and this is how much it'll be, and I'll send somebody over to fix it. So he sent somebody over to fix it a couple days later, and I had asked him when he first came to check on it, I had asked him how much it would be, and he told me. And so that was fine. I said, okay, that's fine. A little expensive, but that's okay. Got to get this done. So he sent someone, and the guy fixed it. So I said, okay, so here's the money. So I'm giving him the money, and he says, no. He said, I just fix things. I don't handle the money. So you need to give the money to the other guy. So I said, okay. So we called him and called him and called him to say, come get your money. To this day, he has not come to get the money. Now, we all know when you fix something in a house, that's not cheap. So we're talking a couple $100, not 1,000 or anything like that, but it's a couple $100, and he won't come and get his money. He just doesn't respond. He doesn't answer the phone. He doesn't respond. So it dawned on me just today, well, wait a minute. Is this part of the free targeting? I'm thinking it is, because who won't come and get their hundreds of dollars? So I said to myself, well, maybe the targeting syndicate paid him. I don't know, because house repairs are not cheap. So it's just bizarre. So that and I only told you guys a few times with this free stuff. This is just happening a lot lately. So I've never heard of that form of targeting where you get free things. I don't know what it's about. I don't even care to try to psychoanalyze it to figure out what it's about, because these people are just bizarre, crazy, and weird. But I have never heard of that form of targeting. But trust me when I say it is definitely targeting, because it's happening a lot. This is free, and that's free, and this is free, and keep the change, and oh, that this is on the house, and it's just weird. It's so bizarre. I never heard of that. Never heard of it. If you guys have, let me know in the comments. And that is it for this video. And thanks for listening, and God bless you guys.